Washington Commanders have traded a 5th-round pick to the 49ers for wide receiver Deebo Samuel. This was a crazy move here. And if you will, I would say blockbuster, but I don't really think anybody got burned by this deal. Now, initially, a lot of people may say, oh, only a 5th-round pick? Damn, that's all it took to get Deebo Samuel? I really think that the time is changing in the NFL before our eyes, where we're seeing a lot more emphasis on draft picks. Like, clearly, the NFL teams are really, really valuing draft picks. I mean, we've seen multiple guys get traded for picks during the course of the season. Devontae Adams was one of them. We've seen Marshawn Lattimore. He was one of the guys who got traded for some draft picks. There was Tre'Davious White got traded for some draft picks. Amari Cooper. Like, this is becoming a trend in the NFL where guys are just getting traded for draft picks. So that's the memo. That's all the memo I need is, hey, if you could have been in the NFL multiple years, but now it seems like draft picks are becoming the value in the NFL. And then also too, for the 49ers, this isn't a bad deal. Like, I understand, they lost Deebo Samuel. This is a guy who helped them get to multiple Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls since he's been there and was drafted in 2019. I understand that, but also it's going to help the 49ers because it benefits them in the cap space, and they don't have to worry about paying Deebo Samuel next year, because the reality of the situation is, this dude has been injured a lot, and I wouldn't really want to pay a guy who's already injured and getting up there in age. He's almost going to be 30. So it's like, I don't want to pay him a tremendous amount. And on top of that, he's aging. He can't stay healthy. So, getting a 5th-round pick for that, you can do a couple options. We know they want to tighten up some pieces on the defense. Now you can look to add another receiver. There was even some rumors about Brandon Ayuk probably even leaving the 49ers. So maybe you do use that 5th-round pick for something special. But on top of all of that, you get the 5th round, but you still have your 1st-round pick, which is the 9th pick in the draft. And that's a huge plus for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, statistically, Deebo Samuel did not have a bad year. I know he was hurt. He didn't finish all the games. I think, above all, he did actually play 15 games, but he just did not finish like the games out that he played. But one of the things I'm looking at here is he had just about the same amount of receptions as the past few years, 51 receiving yards. He had 81 targets, caught 51 of the passes. And then also, too, the total yardage was 670 yards, which is less than last year, but also more than the year that the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. So you can't really pick apart anything of like, oh, well, his play is on a steady decline or anything like that. No, the only thing is, he's aging. That's it. He's almost 30. And other than that, it's a good fit with the Commanders, because now you send him over to the Commanders and he gets a chance to revive himself. So if he does come back and get a big payday, this is huge for him, because now, okay, you got Cliff Kingsbury as your coach. You got a great quarterback. You're also not going to be the number 1 receiving option there because they got Scary Terry. But now you can go in that offense and still show that you're valuable. So however Cliff Kingsbury is going to use Deebo Samuel, it can be in a good way. And I doubt that Cliff Kingsbury struggles finding some uses for a guy like Deebo Samuel. If he really does have something left in the tank, then I doubt it shouldn't be a problem introducing him to the offense and getting him well acclimated. But again, for the 49ers, not a bad deal at all, man. 29, when you look at the last few injuries that he's had, chest rib strain, calf strain, pulled hamstring, shoulder fracture, and this is just going back to 2 years. So I don't know what's to come for him. I hope he can stay healthy, because obviously we know how much of a threat he is when he's healthy. But this pickup here for the Commanders, it's huge. And it's saying that now, to me, above all, the bigger picture here is that draft picks are becoming more valuable in the NFL with all of these different teams. Because you got to remember, too, when they traded for Marshawn Lattimore, they gave away draft picks. Commanders are loaded on some draft picks, and they've been giving them out, trying to bring in some skill guys. And the only thing here is, are you going to bring in the right skill guys? Because you got Marshawn Lattimore, and he's kind of on the back end too, late 20s, early 30s maybe. He's on the back end of his career as well. Now you got Deebo Samuel there as well. But it could be a good blend for bringing in that veteran presence, which is good. Of course, teaching the young guys something who's going to be around. But above all, I don't think anybody got burned by this deal here. For the 49ers and Commanders. Commanders, they already had an outstanding season from last year. going all the way to the conference championship game, which was just wild. Nobody in their right mind imagined them doing that, but yet they still did it. So, 49ers struggled last year. Injuries was a big thing. Brandon Ayuk went down. Christian McCaffrey went down. Deebo Samuel went down. George Kittle was down for a minute. They really got ruined by injuries last year for the 49ers. And, you almost wonder if they're going to try and revamp the whole entire offense from a talent perspective, considering now that they're going to possibly try and trade Brandon Ayuk, who's a big-time receiver, just got a payday and all of that stuff. But maybe they go the draft route. Maybe they try and rebuild through the draft, save some money, pay for a couple free agents,